my name is Ella. I'm a knitter in Toronto, Canada. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the pressed flower pullover, which is what I'm wearing right now. I just finished it yesterday and I blocked it yesterday and it's dry now, so I'm wearing it now. I have my notes and also I have my project page open down here, so I'll be looking down a bit whenever I need to grab some details. So initially I made a shawl. So this is the first one that I made, and then I made another one recently, the second one. So this is bigger than this one, and both of them were made with different yarns. So after making the shawl, I was video chatting with my sister and I was wearing this one that I recently made. And then she really liked the pattern, so she specifically asked me to make her the pullover version. And she chose the yarn as well. So we were looking at the website and try to buy some yarn that can be used for the pattern. So I'm going to talk about the yarn first. The background yarn is the kind of an olive green color. So when she saw the original version, my sister really liked the original version and we wanted to kind of create same vibe. So we were trying to find suitable yarn for the background, and we chose the Illimani yarn Santi. And it's a mixture of 4 different kind of fibers, which was really interesting. I've never used this before, and it's got 45% wool merino and then 25% alpaca, 15% of yak, and another 15% of silk. So it's got that. Because of the silk, I think it's a bit shiny, just a tiny bit, not a lot. And also because of the alpaca, it's very drapey, but yet very, very, very soft. So it's not super wash, but because of the mixture of the yak and alpaca, I think it's really, really soft. It's next to skin soft, definitely. So I'm not wearing anything underneath, just a camisole. So it's touching my chest and arm and at the back and neck and everywhere. And I don't feel itchy at all. So if you're planning to use the Illimani Santi, I highly recommend it. And also the yarn that I use for the color changing flower pattern is the Lang Yarn Merino 120 Superwash. So I normally don't really use superwash yarn, but my sister has very sensitive skin, so I wanted to use something very soft. So I knew that I had to use superwash, so that's why I chose this one. And the color changing, when I looked at it on the website, it was pretty. So we chose that one, and the color was violet. And initially I got the 7 skeins of the background Illimani yarn, and I ended up using only 6 full skeins, and then I've used just a tiny bit of the 7th skein. So I'm left with almost a whole skein of the Santi. And then the color changing yarn, I initially got 5 bowls. It comes in a bowl. But I ran out of the yarn and I had to go to the shop and buy another ball. So I ended up using 6. So my calculation was a bit off, but I did my calculation and I kind of briefly knew how much I needed. And I bought those according to that. And what else can I talk about the yarn? And for sure, the superwash is of course very soft. So the yarn combination was pretty successful, and also the color changing is pretty. I think it's very different from everything else I made. I mean, I've done color work, but it's different. I mean, the way it looks is different from color work. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm just going to show you. So This is the body, and this is the sleeve. And I try to match the sleeves. As you can see, I have like purple going into pink and purple again, and then some red, and then down purple again. And at the end I was running out of this pink yarn, so just this part doesn't really match. But other than that, the sleeves, I kind of try to match the color, not necessarily to the body, but both of the sleeves, I just want them to have the same color down the sleeves. Yeah, so I really like the sweater. Now I think about it and look at myself in the video, I don't want to give it to her. I think I'm very selfish knitter. So I might make another one with this, maybe exactly the same combination or different color. I don't know, but I really love this combination, and I really love the design. I really love how it turned out because I made some modifications. I'm going to talk about modifications now. Okay, so I've used a bunch of different size needles to achieve what I wanted. So the neck ribbing I did with 3.75 millimeter, and then the body was done with 4.5 millimeter needles, and then at the end of the body, the ribbing is also 3.75, and then the sleeves were done in 4 millimeter needles. And then at the end of the sleeves, the ribbing was done in 3 millimeter needles. So bunch of different needles. The reason is because I knew the sweater is kind of like a sweatshirt looking kind of oversized sweater. I didn't want to do the like traditional looking sleeves. I just wanted to do like straight down and cinching in at the end of the sleeves near the wrist. So it's like almost like a bell sleeves, but without doing any decreases, it's going to be too much. So to be able to achieve what I wanted, I just went down the needle size and also omitted some decreases that it was instructed in the pattern. So what I did was I followed the chart from 1 to 48 in the pattern. It asks you to follow, so from 1 to 48 there are a few decreases that you have to do in certain rows in there. Because I don't want to give away anything, I'm just not gonna say specific number, but there's a chart that you can follow to decrease the sleeves, and I only did 1 to 48 decrease just once, and then I come back to row number 1, and then I had to follow that decrease again. But when I did it second time, I only did from 1 to 5 decrease, and then after that I didn't decrease anything. I just knit down straight until I was satisfied with the length. And then what I did at the end was I kind of aggressively decreased right before the ribbing of the sleeves. What I did was just knit it together and knit one, knit it together, and then knit one around, so that it decreases like pretty, like half of it. No, not half. I don't know how much, but that's what I usually do if I want to create something like straight sleeves, but kind of a bell-shaped sleeves. So I decreased that way, and then I did the ribbing just one by one, but with using 3 millimeter needles, so it will be even cinching in even a little bit more, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'll as you can see, it's a little bit longer, but I wanna have longer sleeves than short. If I like, I don't really like bracelet length like this. I'd rather have it longer than shorter. So I made it pretty long, but I think it looks pretty okay-ish. It covers up to like this. And my sister and myself, we are pretty much the same height. Yeah. So I think it will fit her very well. And if it's too long, I think you can probably, you know, when you are working, you can do it like that. It will probably come down if you shake it, because it's not so stretchy and it's not like Italian bind off, so very stretchy. That's why it's gonna come down, but I don't think it'll matter that much. I don't want to like fold it up like that, but yeah. So that's the modification that I did. What else? That's it. So in terms of the bind off, I did Italian bind off for the sleeves, and I did just a regular bind off for the body because I knew the body was big enough for me to like have that. Just regular bind off stretch is enough for me to put my body inside, and it was okay. Yep, so that's that. Nothing more to say about the breast flower pullover. There's a knit along going on, so I'm going to enter this as my knit along project. So that's that. So I only have one finished object today and I have some whips. I'm going to move on to the whips now. First whip is a cherry dress, and that's from this book. And I'm trying to knit as much as I can from the book. I already made Amy Sleepover. I already made... No, only Amy Sleepover, and I'm working on the cherry dress, and I'm going to work on the Guernsey Ganser. So that's why I have yarn for Guernsey Ganser ready to go. I haven't cast it on yet. I will do that very soon. So the cherry dress, I am knitting with Knitting for Olive merino held double. So this is the cherry dress, and it's going. Now it doesn't have sleeves yet, and I am knitting with 4mm needle. So I did the ribbing around the neck with 3.5, and I'm knitting with 4mm needle without any shaping. So you start from the ribbing around the neck, and then you knit down. So it's a top down, but it doesn't have any shaping. It's just like straight down, which I like. So I am just like continuously knitting and knitting and knitting around and around and around. So when I was knitting this pressed flower pullover, I sometimes needed something that's mindless, because this one requires some brain power. Not a lot. Like after repeating the pattern several times, you kind of know what to do. So you don't really have to look at the chart anymore, but still you're like slipping stitches, you're purling, and you're, you know, changing yarns and whatnot. So in between making this, I just needed something that's just stuck in it. So that's why I am knitting this and this at the same time, and I finished this one first because I want to give her the sweater before the winter finishes. So I'm gonna send it to her very soon. And the cherry dress is just ongoing project. At the background, I don't have any deadline, or I don't have to finish it fast. So I'm just gonna take my time and knit whenever I feel like. And there's another project going on, that's Cardi Cocoon. Oh, by the way, I already mentioned this, sorry. So the cherry dress is from the Sunless Garn, and the next one It's Cardi Cocoon by Ann Benzel, and this is a cardigan, and I already made one before with Knit Picks yarn, but this time I'm making it again because the first one that I made, I gave it to my mom, and I think my sister liked that too, so she took it, but I think she's gonna return it to my mom soon. So they're wearing it together. And I'm making the second one again for myself. So the first one was done with white color yarn, and this one I'm doing it with white color again. So the yarn is Camarose yarn. I don't know how to read it, so I'm just going to show you the label. This is 100% wool. And I believe it's organic certified. And I had some in my stash, and I bought the yarn with the intention to make this Cardi Cocoon. In the original pattern, it says to use, 5mm needles and 4mm needles. And the gauge is 19 stitches, but I'm using 4.5mm needles, and my gauge is 24.5. So even though I'm making small/medium size, this one will be smaller than the original, but it is very oversized garment, very oversized cardigan. I'll just show you a picture. So I think my version will be slightly oversized. I mean, it will have positive ease, but not as much as this one. And I have made not the cardigan, but I think it was called Cardi V-neck or V-neck Cardi. So same pattern, same, almost the same, but it's a sweater version, and it's like very deep V-neck. And I made it with alpaca yarn, which is not so great because alpaca, it was 100% alpaca, and it drapes. And because it was pretty heavy, it was weighing down. So, and I've been wearing it a lot, and I can see, like, for example, around here and here, because it's weighing down, it's kind of like stretched a little bit. I mean, I don't mind it. I still love it, and I wear it a lot. But I think definitely with this 100% wool yarn, it's not going to stretch like that. So that's good. So if it's like weighing down, the pattern, the pattern kind of moves a little bit, and I mean, how can I describe this? The pattern is not that visible much compared to at the beginning when I just made it. And also it was done in like dark navy color yarn, which also kind of hard to see the pattern properly. For example, if you knit a cable sweater with lighter color yarn, it will show more. The cables will show more, but with dark yarn like dark navy or black color, if you knit a cable, it will not really show as much as the, for example, like white yarn or like very light gray or, you know, cream color yarn. So with this one, because it has some pattern, I think the pattern shows better with light color than the dark color. For example, right now you can see the pattern, right? But imagine this in a dark navy or black. It will not really show. So I think that's why I chose to knit with this white color yarn. And I am done the back, and I'm holding the stitches, and I'm doing the front. This front right side is done, and I'm knitting down the left side. And then after I'm finishing the left side, I'm gonna combine front and back and knit, or not around, but like back and forth. But I'm gonna combine this and that together, and I'll probably cast on stitches for underarm as well. But because my gauge is smaller, I think I'm going to knit maybe 1 or 2 patterns more down, so that I'll have more ease or depth over here from my shoulder to my underarm. I don't want it to like go too deep, but I want it to have enough room for me to wear something underneath, like a sweater, for example. I can wear this one, and then I can maybe put this over. So I'm going to do that. And also the neck ribbing. First time I made it, I just followed the pattern, but this time I just wanted to make it a bit wider. So I casted on 6 more stitches than in the pattern. So it's a bit wider. So, and it's going pretty well. I really like it. It's going to be very light, yet pretty warm. And also it's got these details, which I really like. I kind of want to make the sweater version one more time again with different yarn. Maybe not white, but like very light lavender color, because I normally really like purple-ish color, or even like light blue. Yeah, so that's that. And there's a little mini project going on, which is a sock. So I originally made a pair for myself, just a vanilla sock, and I really like 100% wool sock, and this is my only pair. Even though I like it, I mean, knitting a sock for me is too fiddly, and I don't really enjoy much. I mean, compared to knitting a sweater or a cardigan, like big garment, knitting a pair of socks takes me more energy and concentration, and the needles are like so tiny. It's like 2.25, and it's taking a long, I feel like taking longer time to finish. And after finishing one sock, I definitely have a second sock syndrome, and I'm like, oh, I need to knit the second one, but I kind of don't want to. So for me, I think I should try knitting 2 at a time socks, but this time I already made the first one, and I pushed myself to make the second one. So I'm working on the second one, but this one is a little bit smaller than the first one that I made. It still fits me, but it's a tiny bit smaller. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to probably finish it, and then send this to my sister or my mom to have it, because I know that they're gonna love it. So I'm going to try to finish this. If I cannot in the near future, maybe I'll just have to send the sweater first, and then maybe send the socks later. Anyways, that's everything from me today. Oh, and just last thing, it's not knitting related, but I'm wearing a pair of earrings right now, as you can see. This is a very gorgeous beads earring, and and I got it from Etsy, and the maker is Marsha. So Marsha made designs. I'll show you the card. I found this shop at Etsy just by browsing, and I think she makes really beautiful earrings. They are all handmade, and they are done with those pretty tiny little beads, and I think it's really pretty. So if you're interested, go check it out. I'm not sponsored or anything. I bought it with my own money. So just letting you know, if you're like me, if you like something small that's pretty, that's shiny, that makes you feel happy, then go for it. Go check it out. I am very impressed with the quality, and she also wrote a little memo and also gave me some like instructions to how to keep the jewelry safe, how to take care of it. So I really appreciate that, and it came in a mail today, and I was really happy to see that the envelope was purple, which is my favorite color. So I was like, oh. And then I opened it, and then it had like the card and the instruction, and it had some, I think it was some stickers and a candy. So it's like this, how to take care of your jewelry. And there was a sticker like this one, oops, this one, and this one. So if you like this kind of stuff, I highly recommend her store. And the earring was hanging in this pretty stamped paper, I think. So I'm keeping all of these in a zipper bag, and whenever I don't use it, I'm gonna keep it in here. Anyways, that's everything from me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you go for the pressed flower pullover if you haven't yet. Definitely very well written pattern, easy to follow, and also it's fascinating whenever you see the flower being created by you just by knitting. It's just so fascinating. So I'm like, one more row, one more flower, and keep knitting. So definitely, if you're thinking about it, go for it. I highly recommend it. Wherever you are, I hope you're well. I hope you're happy. Make whatever you want and whatever makes you happy. So happy knitting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.